right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Thank you very much, Josh Taylor. Good evening, everyone, and welcome into our place of business. It's the Fan Cave. Bob Pompeani here. Andrew Fillipponi is there at 93.7 The Fan, and we talk to you on the hotline, which is 412-575-2600. If you prefer doing it on social media, X, it's at KDPomp, at the Pony Express. And we have a lot of stuff going on. I guess I'll start with Venezuela. Looks like they're going to win that game against Italy. Andrew, and if so, that means it's going to be Venezuela and some of their really good players against USA tomorrow for it all. But take me back to last night. It was quite a game, and we had this debate. A lot of people have wondered about this World Baseball Classic. Is it as fulfilling to players as potentially winning the World Series? And surprisingly, a lot of players say it is the choice they would make, which I'm surprised at. It's in March. Not everybody's ramped up yet. They're, going, 50 pitches and out of the game and that sort of thing. What's your take on what you've seen so far? It certainly has grown over the years. Do you like it? And do you think it still should be now in the beginning of the season?
Not my preference. I'd rather have it during the All-Star break sometime in July. I think we'll see something like that in 2 years when they have the Summer Olympics in LA. I think they'll get major league players there. I think they'll find an agreement. So we'll have something that resembles what happened with hockey in February. I think it's good. I mean, it beats watching spring training baseball right now. You get high intensity, high pressure games. You've got countries to root for: the Dominican, Venezuela, the Puerto Rico. Those countries get super into it. Japan, same thing. And I think we do to an extent, but it really cheapens it. It's not the same thing for me when you've got guys, starting pitchers that are on such limited pitch counts. They leave the team. Tarek Skubal did after the Great Britain game. A lot of our best guys still didn't want to play. You've got Paul Goldschmidt and Bryce Harper at first base, for example. So it's getting better. I mean, it's better than when they first started the event. I think it's interesting. I think it's a breath of fresh air every 3 years, but I would absolutely disagree that it weighs as much or matters as much as the World Series. I know Japan won the last World Baseball Classic. I don't know if I can tell you who won the World Baseball Classic before that. Maybe we did. So I think it's fine. I think there's ways to improve it. And it was great watching Paul Skeens and David Bednar and Mason Miller get the job done for Team USA last night. Yeah,
a lot of controversial last pitch, which looked like it fell below the strike zone, but it was called strike 3 on Perdomo. Perdomo's got to swing at that, in my opinion. I mean, that pitch is too good to take just because that umpire had called that a ball or a strike, most of the night when it fell. He was giving the pitcher the benefit of the doubt on some of the low strikes. I don't know. That's a tough one. And a lot of people think that ABS system, which they've used in spring training and will use this year, should have been used. Whatever the case may be, it was a good pitch because he had changed speeds. And I think he was looking for the heater again after he saw 101 from Mason Miller, and he just changed it, and he froze him, really, is what happened there.
If they want to make it so the home plate umpire is the automated strike zone for an entire game, I'm good with that. I think it probably would be more accurate than the human umpire. I'd have no issue with Major League Baseball going to that full time. I actually thought watching that game last night, I thought the home plate umpire had a good game as far as it was a consistent strike zone for both teams. And I didn't think it favored one team over the other. And even though it was not the textbook, rule book, letter of the law strike zone, I thought it was a consistent one. And I think that's what players want more than anything else. That's what hitters want. They want to know what the strike zone is for a given game. And I thought they had that in the game. And because of that, I do think with 2 strikes, Perdomo should have been in protect mode there in swing mode.
He's there at KDKA.com/connect. Poll of the night brought to you by Penn West University. Are you going to watch Team USA in the World Baseball Classic tomorrow night? Yes or no? Pretty good ratings. And yesterday was not on Fox's main outlet. It was on FS1, so I don't know if they plan on showing tomorrow in the regular Fox. I don't know what the deal is with that, but if so.
But you know who was on TV? You know who was on over-the-air TV? Mike Tomlin, who was taking in the Warriors-Knicks game courtside on NBC. And it makes you wonder. He's on NBC. They're showing him. They're talking about him. Is he going to be working for NBC this fall? Tony Dungy leaving. That's his mentor. I'm sure if it went amicably, Mike would have no problem replacing a guy that he has great respect for on the NBC panel this year, Bob.
Or he may say, hey, that's my guy, and you made his career end. I'm not going to do it. I stand by what he's told me a lot, is that he's not going to do television. So he's just going to, move on, disappear, and that's what he's done so far. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. When we come back, Andrew, we're going to talk about, now they're in the end of the first period, the Penguins tonight in Colorado, and what a first period it was. Evgeny Malkin wasted no time in making up for, missing 5 games. We'll talk about that. We'll take your phone calls at 412-575-2600. So call now, and you will be on the air on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here on KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. All right, welcome back. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from Codify, and it pretty much shows you everything about Mason Miller, the fastest 20 pitches so far in the 2026 World Baseball Classic.
That's something else.
Well, listen, I looked at back all the way since last September. The guy's been unhittable. He's had 59 batters faced. They've gone 0 for 59, 39 strikeouts. When you gas it up at 104 potentially, like I said, that last pitch last night was pretty sweet because it was not, I don't think, what Perdomo was looking for. Let's talk about the Penguins real quick. I believe they're in the intermission. 4-2 is the score last I checked. Boy, I didn't expect that to happen the way it did. These are 2 of the highest scoring first period teams in the NHL, but Colorado is at home. They have been terrific all season long. And then Penguins right off the bat, Evgeny Malkin, after missing 5, has 2 goals. Chinakhov set him up for 1 of them. 4-2. I didn't expect that right off the bat, but I'll tell you something, that's a dangerous lead against that Avalanche team.
Well, they've already pulled Wedgwood, who has not suffered a regulation loss at home all year.
Crazy.
So that's just a wild stat that we're already 3/4 of the way through the season. That hasn't happened. He's been so reliable for them, and he got pulled for Mackenzie Blackwood, who came in and I believe gave up that second Evgeny Malkin goal. So shots are way in favor of Colorado. They are the best team in the NHL, and the Penguins are playing without Sidney Crosby. If they're able to win this game, to me, it's their biggest statement win of the season. It's a win that resonates throughout the NHL. And Kyle Dubas said today that Sidney Crosby's getting closer, but he's still not ready to return. So who knows when he'll be back? I doubt it's Wednesday in Carolina. But maybe we do see him when the Penguins return from this hellacious road trip Saturday against the very underachieving Winnipeg Jets. Connor Hellebuck won us a gold medal, but he has not looked like gold medal winning goalie for Winnipeg this year, Bob. He has had a very shaky regular season for them.
By the way, the Islanders are not playing tonight. They will play tomorrow, and they will play again on Thursday night. I think they have Ottawa on Thursday, and tomorrow they have the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Toronto struggled, but Ottawa's a pretty good team. They're still in the battle for a playoff position as well. But the Penguins do have a game in hand, so that's important that if they win this game, to put the pressure right back on the Islanders for tomorrow. All right, let's talk about March Madness, because this one, I know you're a passionate guy about it. I know you run a March Madness bracket poll, and I don't know, any surprises to you? My biggest surprise had to be St. John's moving all the way down to a 5th seed after they beat UConn twice, and UConn gets a 2nd seed. I thought St. John's deserved a better seed than that. Any other things shock you about how it went? Miami of Ohio made it as the last team in. I think that's a perfect place for them. If they're going to move on, they got to win that game against SMU in a play-in game.
You know, I thought this year there weren't really any glaring mistakes. Now, I think Arkansas and St. John's should have been seeded better than they were. But to me, that's kind of a minor gripe. St. John's has those 2 great wins against Connecticut this year. Problem is the Big East was bad. Only 3 teams made the tournament. And St. John's played a very weak non-conference. Just to put in perspective, Auburn, who got left out, Auburn, who would have been, I think, by the number of losses, they would have had the most losses ever by a team that got in without winning a conference tournament. They were the team that was right there being debated against Miami, Ohio. Auburn beat St. John's, I think, by 20 in the non-conference. So they didn't beat anybody in November and December, and usually that doesn't matter because the Big East is a good league. It was not this year. Connecticut played a much stiffer test in the non-conference. So I think that's what got St. John's penalized. If you just go by eye test right now, just how are they playing right now? They're better than Connecticut, but we know that those things change. To me, that's really not how you should seed it, though, because we've seen teams win their conference tournament, for example, Bob. We think, oh, this team's on a roll, they've got momentum, and then they come out and lay an egg in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So when you have that break between the conference and the NCAAs, you never know how teams are going to respond or how they're going to play. And I do think that the committee really did, overall, a good job. And now we get to see Miami, Ohio, show people on the court that they belong. They are already a big underdog against SMU. These are, in theory, supposed to be two very evenly matched teams. And I think last check, the line's almost 10 between the SMU Mustangs and the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. And maybe Big Ben will make his way to Dayton to watch his alma mater play.
Yes, he did.
This
we'll
week.
See. I agree with you about how teams are playing. I remember at the beginning of this year, Florida did not look like a two-time champion recently. I didn't think they were going to be that good based on what I saw in the first couple of months of the season, and they put it together, and they have now earned a number 1 seed. So will be interesting how it starts tomorrow, and another play-in day on Wednesday before the tournament starts on Thursday. We got our number 1 Cochran Go One Better caller of the night as we go to the phone lines. It's Kevin in Washington. Hello, Kevin. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. I wanted to say hi, Pomp, and hi, Andrew.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I want to ask, what do you think they're going to do with the quarterback situation, and why they're not bringing Will Howard up as much?
Well, I think everyone's bringing up Will Howard. That's been the story of the offseason without it being a story. We still wait on Aaron Rodgers. I still don't understand why it's taken this long. He's had plenty of time to think this over. And that he's had conversations with Mike McCarthy. So what do you think a holdup is? And is he just, because I heard Aditi Kinkabwala on your radio station once said she thinks it's a minuscule chance that he will return, which surprised me because everything I've led to believe that they are going to bring him back and he wants to be back, but he hasn't made it official.
Well, ESPN reported today that he has still not given them a concrete answer on things. He's not told them, the ESPN made it sound like this isn't a situation in which the Steelers know, but they've got to keep it a secret. They made it sound like Aaron Rodgers is still maybe playing some games with them.
Why, though?
But they've had.
Is it money?
Yeah, Bob, I think it's just his nature. I think it's just his personality. I don't think he likes being rushed into a situation. I think the Steelers know he's delicate in that regard. And Mike Tomlin was willing to go along with that last year because he thought he was the best option. I'm not really sure that he is. I don't think he is for this year's team. I'd rather see Will Howard play if push came to shove. Some of these Kirk Cousins rumors are persistent too, and that just to me would just be a disaster. I do not want to watch Kirk Cousins play quarterback
Me neither.
for the Steelers this year, Bob.
No, I don't. And, so then I wonder if let's just play a game. If Aaron Rodgers still a month from now has not let them know, and legitimately they don't know, how does it impact their draft? And would they be willing to take a Ty Simpson if he falls, to 21 in the draft? That to me becomes a real possibility if they legitimately don't know. But I got to believe this is going to end fairly soon. At least I thought so before free agency started, but it's lingered on.
I mean, I would, if they don't know from Aaron Rodgers at that point, now I'm not saying I am really bullish on any of these guys as far as whether or not they're going to work as NFL quarterbacks. But at that point, if you don't know, I would not be opposed to them acquiring Anthony Richardson for a day 3 pick. The Eagles backup McKee, another one of those guys. Somebody like that who at least has the potential or the upside to be an NFL starting quarterback. I know that doesn't bode well for how the 2026 season goes, but I'd rather have a player like that in the mix to fill out my quarterback depth chart. If you take Ty Simpson in the first round, Bob, to me, that means next year's crop of quarterbacks you're out on because you have your young quarterback now who you invested a lot in. And I don't want to do that if I'm the Steelers.
I don't either. And I agree with what you're saying with one of those guys. I thought that last year with Justin Fields. That's why I thought he'd be a better choice just because there's some potential there. And if you can extract
and Bob,
out of
I'm telling you right now, I think Justin Fields is going to get used as a weapon by the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he's going to come in for short yardage. I think he might catch balls there. I think he might return. I don't know. I think they're going to try to use him as a slash-type player there this season. I really do.
Yeah, I think the Jets ruined him a little bit for a season. As much progress as I saw in those 6 games here where he started and went 4-2, they stripped it all away, and now here he is again available for a 6th-round pick. We'll take a break, come back with more. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We're live 7 nights a week. Mark that down and call us at 575-2600. Well, it's official. Venezuela has closed the door on Italy, a team that beat the USA the last time they met. Maybe we're looking for a rematch. It's not going to happen. It's going to be Venezuela and USA tomorrow for the World Baseball Classic Championship. And, Andrew, that means guys like Ronald Acuna, Luis Arraez, you got Eugenio Suarez, who had a home run tonight, Jackson Chourio. They got a lot of talent on that team. How do you see that one working out?
Well, I want to say the Pirates. Team USA should have a lot of advantage when it comes to pitching. They should is the operative word, but we're going to see young, I think fireballer Nolan McLean is going to take the mound for Team USA. He was not very good in his first start against Italy, which again, you wonder why. And he's a guy with a great potential future in baseball. But where's like my guy Jacob deGrom? You know, where's a guy like that, Garrett Crochet?
Right.
These are American-born pitchers who aren't pitching in this thing. So I think that does open the door for Venezuela. But I would say right now, if the U.S. loses this game tomorrow night, it would be a big upset. It would be a big loss. The extra day of rest, too, should benefit the U.S., Bob, in terms of what they can do with their bullpen for this game.
Well, yeah, even extra day of rest helps. And certainly a guy like Mason Miller, and I thought David Bednar was just as good last night when he had to be second and third. He came up with back-to-back strikeouts there. I didn't see that coming, but he got out of
And
that.
they should have sent Wells. If they send Wells with one out there, even if he gets thrown out at home plate, the runner advances to second, and you still got a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. That was a bad throw home. He would have scored and tied the game there, Bob.
No question about that. Andrew, we're out of time. I appreciate it as always. Thank you. We'll do it again tomorrow night, and we'll have much more to talk about,
Bob.
sure. All right, that's going to do
See
it
you later.
for Andrew Fillipponi. I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks again for joining us tonight. We know there's a lot of sports going on, so tomorrow when it's all said and done, call us. Air your opinions about what you saw tonight, what you may see tomorrow, right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Have a good night. Back at you at 10:35 tomorrow.